Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled to get into this one, because today we are tracing the remarkable life cycle of whiskey. We're going to explore exactly how this spirit transforms from a simple, humble handful of grain into that incredibly sophisticated liquid sitting in your glass. We'll be breaking down the science, the geography, and the pure artistry behind it. So let's get ready to explore the life cycle of flavor.
Okay, let's dive into this. We've got a fantastic four-part roadmap ahead of us today. First, what is whiskey? Second, the magic of production. Third, the great whiskey family. And finally, the art of drinking whiskey.
All right, let's jump right into section 1. What is whiskey? The foundation.
You know, it's actually amazing how humble the beginnings of this spirit truly are. At its core, whiskey is just an alcoholic beverage born from fermenting and distilling everyday grains. We're talking barley, corn, wheat, and rye. But here's the thing. The defining characteristic, the real magic of it all, doesn't actually happen until that raw liquid hits wooden barrels, which are typically made of oak.
So the crucial point is that this aging process in the barrel isn't just passive storage, not at all. As the spirit rests, it's continuously interacting with the wood. It is literally breathing in and out of the oak, extracting those incredibly rich, deeply layered flavors that enthusiasts absolutely love. The specific type of barrel and the length of time the liquid spends resting in there are the ultimate deciders of its final, complex taste.
Moving right along to section 2, the magic of production, from grain to bottle. Let's demystify this process.
The whole thing follows this really beautiful four-step journey. It all kicks off with fermentation. This is where you crush the grains and mix them with water and yeast to convert those natural sugars directly into alcohol. Then comes distillation, which is basically heating and purifying the liquid to extract concentrated alcohol. Now, most whiskeys are distilled once or maybe twice, but Irish whiskey is a fascinating exception. They uniquely distill it 3 times for an incredibly smooth finish. Step 3 is aging in those all-important oak barrels we just talked about. And finally, bottling. And quick aside here, some producers actually leave the whiskey unfiltered at this stage, purely to preserve every single ounce of that raw, unadulterated flavor.
All right, section 3, the great whiskey family. We're going global now.
And this brilliantly illustrates just how strict the legal recipes for these different varieties can be. Take bourbon, for example. To legally be called a bourbon, the grain mixture absolutely must be at least 51% corn, and it has to be aged in brand new charred oak barrels. That heavy reliance on corn is exactly what yields a noticeably sweeter, much milder flavor. It's the secret behind iconic Kentucky brands you've definitely heard of, like Jack Daniel's and Maker's Mark.
But what happens if you swap out that foundational grain? Well, if you use at least 51% rye instead of corn, you've just created rye whiskey. That one simple ingredient change completely shifts the entire flavor profile. It basically replaces bourbon's signature sweetness with a much spicier, decidedly more bitter bite. It's a really distinct taste that's heavily produced all across North America.
Now let's put 2 absolute global giants head-to-head. Scotch whiskey, and by the way, they spell it without the E, must legally be distilled and aged in Scotland. The geography and process there produce incredibly complex, often smoky, ash-like flavor profiles, especially if it's from places like Islay. Contrast that completely with Irish whiskey. Because it goes through that triple distillation process we mentioned earlier, you get a spirit that is decidedly softer, way smoother, and sweeter. It's a highly approachable profile made world famous by brands like Jameson.
Let's move to and see how this builds our understanding of Scotch, because I know the terminology on those bottles can often feel pretty intimidating. It basically breaks down into 2 main categories. First, you have single malt. All that means is the whiskey was made exclusively from barley at one single distillery. That's it. Then you have blended. And just as the name suggests, this is a combination of malt whiskey mixed with whiskeys made from various other grains.
So, looking at the global landscape side by side, it's like a fantastic little cheat sheet. You can clearly see how the origin and key traits line up for bourbon, Scotch, Irish, and rye. But let's take a second for one we haven't touched on yet, Canadian whiskey. Usually made from a blend of various grains, it offers a distinctly milder, really approachable flavor profile compared to the others. The absolute perfect example of this is a classic brand like Crown Royal.
And that brings us to our final part, section 4, the art of drinking whiskey.
The golden rule here? There really is no single wrong way to enjoy whiskey. A lot of purists out there will swear by drinking it neat, meaning pure, straight out of the bottle into the glass to fully appreciate the unaltered flavor of deeply aged whiskeys. But hey, don't underestimate a drop of water or a single cube of ice. Seriously,
That slight temperature change and dilution actually opens up entirely new tasting notes. It's like unlocking a hidden layer of flavor. And of course, whiskey's robust profile makes it the absolute ultimate foundational base for legendary cocktails. Think of the timeless old-fashioned, a perfectly balanced whiskey sour, or a classic Manhattan.
We've seen how just a few simple, everyday ingredients, corn, rye, barley, when mixed with a little yeast, water, and some quality time in an oak barrel, can create an astonishingly vast variety of global flavors. We're talking everything from sweet and mild to spicy, bitter, and smoky. It truly is a remarkable life cycle. So, as you go out and explore your own palate, I want to leave you with this thought. Which flavor profile matches your personality?